This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello viewers, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I'm Janani Tesfaye with the top news. First, our top stories for today. Pope Francis dies aged 88. African Space Agency opens headquarters in Egypt. Nigeria aims for $74 billion livestock sector by 2035. Algeria focuses on ports for economic diversification. Now, the news in detail. Nigeria is setting its sights on transforming its livestock sector into a $74 billion industry by 2035. The Federal Ministry of Livestock Development plans to double the national herd from 400 million to 900 million animals, driven by increasing domestic demand for meat. Key segments such as poultry, goats, and sheep will spearhead this growth. The ministry emphasizes creating a sustainable and profitable industry for all Nigerians by revitalizing grazing reserves and protecting traditional cattle routes. This ambitious initiative aims to meet the needs of a growing population and create significant opportunities for farmers and investors alike. Now to AFSA. The African Space Agency has officially opened its headquarters in Cairo. Established in 2016 by the African Union, AFSA is set to coordinate and advance Africa space initiatives, serving as the primary point of contact for cooperation with Europe and other international partners. A key objective outlined in the African Space Agency Act is to enhance space missions across the continent and ensure optimal access to space-derived data and services. Once integrated into national and regional programs, AFSA will help eliminate duplications and inefficiencies within the African space ecosystem. As the official body overseeing these efforts, it will implement the African space policy and strategy, working towards achieving the continent's space-related goals. Moving on to Pakistan and Rwanda. Pakistan and Rwanda signed multiple memorandums of understanding to enhance bilateral cooperation, particularly in investment and diplomacy. Rwanda's Foreign Minister Dr. Oliver Nduhungirehe met with Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister Isaac Dar in Islamabad, announcing an MOU on diplomatic training and expressing interest in further collaboration. He encouraged Pakistani businesses to explore opportunities in Rwanda, highlighting the potential for expanding trade, especially in high-quality Rwandan tea. Both nations also shared commitments to UN peacekeeping efforts and discussed cultural ties, with Rwanda expressing interest in developing cricket skills with Pakistan's support. Shifting to Chad. A new bridge, which cost £499 million to build, has connected Chad and Cameroon and revolutionized travel for their residents. The Logone River, a major tributary of the Chari River, spans across the Central African countries of Chad and Cameroon and forms part of their international border. The newly completed Logone Bridge has been hailed as a life-saving development made possible by funding from the African Development Bank, African Development Fund, the European Union, and both governments. In other news, Pope Francis has died, the Vatican has announced in a video statement. Francis had suffered various ailments in his 12-year papacy, with severe complications in recent weeks after a bout of double pneumonia for which he spent 5 weeks in the hospital. His death comes one day after a brief appearance before thousands of Catholic pilgrims gathered in St. Peter's Square for the Vatican's open-air Easter Sunday Mass. Moving on to our next story. Iran and the United States wrapped up a second round of negotiations on Tehran's nuclear program in Rome on Saturday, with no immediate details on the discussions. Both sides agreed to meet again next week. Iranian Foreign Minister spokesman Ismail Baghai emphasized Iran's commitment to pursuing talks aimed at lifting crippling economic sanctions. The closed-door talks were led by President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Iranian Foreign Ministry Abbas Araghchi, with mediation from Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi. Prior to the discussions, Araghchi met with Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani, who expressed hope for a positive outcome on social media.
The story of resurgent Ethiopia and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel, all the time. Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Turning to business news. Algeria is focusing on economic diversification by placing ports as the center of a strategy, according to World Bank reports. A recent World Bank report indicates that non-hydrocarbon exports have tripled since 2017, reaching $5.1 billion in 2023, reducing the country's reliance on oil and gas. Key reforms, including the Algerian port community system and a new investment law, are designed to boost trade efficiency and attract foreign investment. However, challenges such as low productivity and global decarbonization pressures highlight the need for ongoing reforms to achieve sustainable economic resilience and growth. Finally, Hyundai Motor Group announced a memorandum of understanding with POSCO Holdings to cooperate on a planned steel plant in Louisiana. POSCO will invest in the project, which aims for annual production of 2.7 million tons and is set to begin in 2029. This initiative is part of Hyundai's $21 billion investment in the U.S., a plan discussed with President Trump last month. Amid trade tensions, Trump recently imposed a 25% tariff on South Korean steel, which has since been suspended for 3 months. Before concluding, let us provide you with the latest updates on global commodities prices. Now to weather updates. That is all for today, and thank you for watching Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.